In the bustling town of Capernaum, a man lay paralyzed, his world confined to a simple mat. Day in and day out, he depended on the kindness of others, his body a prison, his spirit longing for freedom. But he was not alone. He had for friends, true friends, whose loyalty was as unwavering as his own affliction. Their bond was a silent testament to hope in the face of despair. One day, a ripple of excitement spread through the streets. Jesus, the teacher from Nazareth, whose words were said to heal and whose touch could mend the broken, was in town. He was teaching in a nearby house, and a massive crowd, drawn by tales of wonder and wisdom, had gathered to hear him. For the four friends, this was more than just news. It was a divine opportunity, a chance they couldn't ignore. Without a moment's hesitation, they looked at their paralyzed friend, a shared understanding passing between them. This was it. They lifted the corners of his mat, the weight of their friend a small burden compared to the weight of their hope. Their mission was clear: get their friend to Jesus. With determined steps, they navigated the dusty streets, the precious cargo of a human life balanced between them. As they approached the house, their hearts sank. A wall of people, thick and impenetrable, blocked the entrance. Every window, every doorway was jammed with eager listeners. The air was thick with anticipation, but for the four friends, it was a barrier of frustration. Pushing and pleading were useless. The crowd was too dense to focus on the voice inside. It seemed their journey had ended just as it began. Despair began to creep in. Had they carried their friend all this way for nothing? But as they looked from the unmoving crowd to the helpless man on the mat, a new resolve ignited within them. Giving up was not an option. Their faith, their friendship, demanded more. They scanned the area, their eyes searching for any alternative, any unconventional path. And then, one of them looked up. The roof. It was a bold, almost crazy idea, but in that moment of desperation, it felt like the only way. With renewed vigor, they found a way to the side of the house, likely an external staircase. The climb was awkward and difficult, maneuvering a man on a mat up to the flat rooftop. Onlookers probably stared, whispering about their strange and desperate efforts. But the friends were deaf to the murmurs, their focus singular and absolute. Once on the roof, they wasted no time. The roof was made of clay tiles, packed earth, and wooden beams common for homes in that region. Working together, they began to dig. With their bare hands, they pulled away the tiles, broke through the hardened mud and branches, creating a makeshift skyline. Dust and debris rained down into the room below, right over the heads of the packed crowd and the teacher himself. Imagine the scene inside. Jesus is mid-sentence, teaching profound truths, when suddenly dirt starts falling from the ceiling. The crowd murmurs, looking up in confusion. The hole grows wider, and then, silhouetted against the bright sky, four faces peer down. A gasp ripples through the room as they begin to lower a man on a mat, right into the center of the gathering, directly at Jesus' feet. The entire room fell silent. All eyes were on the man on the mat and the gaping hole in the ceiling. What an interruption! What audacity! Some in the crowd were surely annoyed. Others were simply stunned by the sheer determination on display. But Jesus saw something else entirely. He looked past the dust, past the disruption, past the paralyzed body. Moved by this incredible act of love and belief, Jesus looked at the paralyzed man. The man's eyes were filled with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. Instead of immediately healing his body, Jesus addressed a deeper need. He spoke with gentle authority. "Son, your sins are forgiven." This statement was shocking. To the religious leaders present, the scribes, this was blasphemy. Only God could forgive sins. They began to reason silently, their faces hardening with judgment. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, challenged them directly. "Which is easier," he asked, "to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Rise, take up your mat and walk'?" He paused, letting the weight of his question settle in the silent room. "But so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins," He then turned his full attention back to the man on the mat. The climax of this incredible drama had arrived. With a voice that resonated with divine power, Jesus commanded, "I say to you, rise, pick up your mat, and go home." For a moment, nothing happened. The man lay still. Then, a flicker of movement, a tremor ran through his legs. Sensation, long absent, returned like a flood. Strength he hadn't known for years surged into his limbs. Slowly, miraculously, he began to move. He pushed himself up. His arms, once weak, now firm, he stood on his own 2 feet. The crowd watched, breathless. The man, now standing tall, looked down at his own body in disbelief. He then bent down, not out of weakness, but with purpose. He rolled up the very mat that had been his prison for so long and tucked it under his arm. He took a step, then another. He was walking. He turned and, without a word, walked through the stunned crowd, which parted like the Red Sea to let him pass. He walked out the door he couldn't enter just moments before and headed home, a living miracle. The room erupted. People began praising God, their faces filled with a mixture of fear and overwhelming joy. They said to one another, "We have never seen anything like this." The faith of 4 friends had not only brought healing to one man, but had revealed the power of God to an entire town. This story reminds us of the power of community, of friends who refuse to let us face our struggles alone. It shows that sometimes, faith requires us to break through barriers, to do the unconventional, to literally tear the roof off our limitations. It's a powerful testament to the idea that hope, when shared, can move mountains, or in this case, a man on a mat. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires. We'll see you next time.